On this edition of Flashtalk, brought to you by Brian Hanging Cooling, head coach Kenni Burns stops by to talk Flash Bowl 2, our annual spring game, and recap spring practices. Jeff Duncan stops by to talk hardball and the wonderful weekend we had out in Northern Illinois and a big weekend coming up against BG. Head coach Jon Mills talks men's golf as they take aim at another Mid-American Conference title. And Jess O'Donnell talks softball fresh off a sweep this past weekend at BG and take on the ranked Miami Redhawks coming up this week. Plus, we take another look at a busy week around Kent State athletics, and that's all coming up in a flash. Welcome into Flash Talk. As always, we're brought to you by Brian Hanging and Cooling. Dan Griffin. Please be joined with head football coach Kenni Burns talking a little spring football and culminating in Flash Bowl 2 this weekend. I mean, there's a lot of juice going on in this building.
Here we go, Flash Bowl 2, man. And then we've got some honorary coaches who are really going to get it going as we bring basketball on the football field, which would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, the energy is in the air because it's Starkey versus Coach Senderoff. So Starkey versus Sendy, and I mean, just talking to those guys a little bit about the opportunity, the experience. I mean, they're football fans, big football fans as well. So kind of get to flex their creative juices a little bit. So, I mean, great idea by you because it's gotten everybody involved and a lot of excitement going on.
Yeah, I know it's fun to watch those two kind of go at it a little bit and take them into our world. I think most coaches are sports fans. You know, we're fans of sports, so I think they're excited about the opportunity to come and lead their teams and have some fun with it as well.
Well, speaking of fun, we've had a number of fun open practices. If you kind of peeled back the curtain on a spring ball here, great energy in the field house this past weekend with Kids Day, a lot of other activities going on, but obviously your focus at hand is the energy going on at practice, which you can see there is, again, some juice going on with this team, a little pep in their step as the guys are really getting after it. Like you said, all in is the mantra here this year.
Yeah, no, they've done a good job this spring of really coming out and being intentional about their work. And you look at our football team, we're still very young, but we're an experienced youth. We had a lot of guys play last year. They got some reps, so they're more comfortable in our system and what we're doing. I think that's what you're seeing out there on the field as well.
And it's only going to make them better when they're going so hard in practice. And I mean, the one that kind of jumps out to me is obviously your position at heart, and that's the running backs. Kai Thomas runs like he's mad at the grass. Like it's impressive to see him immediately downhill and really fighting for those extra yards, and then it spills over into Gavin and to Curtis Douglas and a number of the other guys to where, all right, if he's running that hard, yeah, I've got to run twice as hard, and it really you can tell that there is some fever and some purpose to the rushing attack.
Yeah, you know, I'm really excited for Kai. You know, I had him in Minnesota, and he did a great job for me there as a freshman, and to have him here now, and I'm starting to see glimpses of what I saw there, the potential of Kai Thomas. And I think what's happening that's really good is there's a little bit of competition between him, Gavin, Curtis, Marcus Hicks. Those guys are all kind of battling for that starting job, and I think they're all doing a really good job. And at the running back position, in my experience, you need a pair, a spare, another spare, because they go down pretty easily during the course of a season. So our depth there is definitely exciting. We got to keep developing them. Coach Watson's done a great job with that room, but they got to keep developing as they move forward.
If you want to control the game, you control it obviously with the rushing attack on offense, to where you're asking an awful lot of a guy to tote it 25, 30 times a game. And yeah, a lot of them get stronger in the fourth quarter, but if you can go to a like you said, a pair and a spare and things like that, to where you get fresh legs all four quarters, I mean, the defense is going to really pay the price late in the game.
Sure, if you can have a fresh back in the fourth quarter to really finish the game is what you call it, you know, and having guys that can actually rotate in the fourth quarter, you know, and throwing different backs at them as the defensive line has gotten worn down, that's to your advantage. You know, we didn't have that last year. We had, you know, backs that were taking a lot of reps, you know, in games, and we don't want that moving forward. We want to use our depth and then let our depth be our explosion in the fourth quarter.
Well, we'll see them in action this Saturday. We'll have the Phelan Lounges, a nice little open house to give the fans a little taste of what that elevated experience can be. We got Starkey versus Sendy. We've got a lot of fun to be had here, and I'm sure you've got a couple of tricks up your sleeve for Saturday night as well.
Yeah, the spring game is kind of like the head coach's kind of funnest day of the year. I don't know if funnest is a word, but you get to have a lot of fun with. There's been a lot of creativity and people behind the scenes that have put some great stuff together. So if you're bored on Saturday night, you got nothing to do, don't miss Flash Bowl number 2, Cindy versus Starkey, and come and watch this team grow and get better. And it should be a fun night.
All gets started, like we said, at 6 o'clock. Doors open a little bit early. We've got some great giveaways going on. Like I said, the Phelan Lounge is going to be open, plus a huge flash sale, pardon the pun, from our friends at Kent Sportswear. So you don't want to miss it. Coach, thank you, as always, for a little bit more of your time.
Oh, I appreciate it. Go Flashes and Kent Grip.
Welcome back to our Flash Talk Studios. We are brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Dan Griffin alongside head ball coach Jeff Duncan, fresh off a big fly-the-flag victory over Penn State, and then some milestone victories out at NIU as you guys picked up program win number 2,000, a third MAC team to do it. I think you're one of 60 in college baseball thereabouts that have reached that milestone, but never in doubt. Just a little bit of a flair for dramatic, down 3, nobody on base, and
in the ninth.
Some in the 9th inning, you're down to your last strike, and of course, you're going to win 9-8 in extra innings.
Absolutely. Never a doubt. No, it was a beautiful win for us yesterday. And the thing is we've done that twice in 2 weeks, and that's really good. We'll call our guys the cardiac kids here for the rest of the season. But it's a good feeling as a coach knowing that these guys won't give up, and they think they're in every game. And, like you said, bottom of the 9th, nobody on, two outs, 2 strikes.
That's right.
And then Lance McDonald starts it, and then hit by pitch, walk, grand slam. And we take the lead.
And then NIU forces extra innings, and then you guys take care of business in the 10th. But, I mean, man, you were literally have your backs up against a wall. You could drop the series against Northern Illinois, which, I mean, wins at this point of the season are all that more important as you guys are jockeying for position in the conference race, especially with a busy week coming up.
Yeah, from the second place, you get 6 teams go to the tournament. From 2 to 6, it's like a game or 2 apart. So everybody, from 2 to 6 is heavily in the mix, and then there's, even Northern Illinois and Eastern Michigan are still right there at the 7-8. But no, really good win for us, and for us, I think we talked about us, doing a better job on the road, and for us to win 3 out of 4 games on the road this week, 4 out of our last 5 on the road. Starting with Toledo on Sunday, and then, like you said, Penn State, and then taking 2 here at Northern, which Northern's much better, and that, DeKalb, Illinois is not an easy place to play. So for us to go there and take 2 out of 3 and do it in the fashion like we did on Sunday, really had a chance to sweep them on Saturday, just 1 bad inning on Saturday. We played 1 bad inning all weekend, so overall, pretty happy with where we're at right now, and really good week for us.
You guys get Clarion to come in for beach night, Jimmy Buffett night on tonight at 6 o'clock, and then probably the best weather weekend, at least forecast-wise, and a huge weekend fan-wise for the student tailgate on Friday, Military Day on Saturday, Superhero Day on Sunday. But, man, BG is off to something special. They finally lost, but they had won they're 17 in 1 in conference, and for a program that literally came back from the brink thanks to some alumni, that's a really cool story that you guys get a chance to go up against.
No doubt. Coach Alex done a good job there. I think it's his 4th year maybe there, and just on the improvement from even last year, just an amazing job. I think they've won 16 MAC games in a row up until yesterday, and that's not heard of very, very often. And that includes us going 26-4 last year, and that's hard to do. So really looking forward to this weekend. I think it'll be a really good challenge for our guys. It'll be intense all weekend, and our guys will be ready. You switched Kyle Jackson and Mike McNamara a few weeks ago as far as the diamond is concerned, and both of them have really stepped up at the plate and shined in their
and their new positions. But those two, they've kind of unlocked some magic. And well, Josh Johnson, you're going to keep doing some Josh Johnson things. I mean, you talk about three veteran leaders that have risen to the challenge here, especially in the second half of the year.
I'm going to just point out, you got to love sports and just the character of Michael McNamara, who's been, battling some injuries all year long and hasn't been 100%. But for him to, just give everything he possibly can, whatever he's got left, into every game, it's been pretty inspirational, not only to me but to the rest of the group. So when you have a catalyst like him and just recently really starting to pick up his numbers, like you said, he's up to eight or nine homers now, and just had 3 just a few weeks ago. So it's good. It's good that the weather's getting better too, and really like this group. We enjoy playing the game. We enjoy being together, and hopefully continuing to have a good week this upcoming week. Like you said, we have Youngstown tomorrow, Clarion at home, and then obviously a big Bowling Green matchup on the weekend. So looking forward to having a good weekend with this group.
Yeah, it all gets started on Friday night at 6, Clarion game Wednesday at 6 as well. It goes 6-3-1 as we really start to get into the thick of things here at home. We still have 3 home series left, and it's hard to believe that that's the case here this late in the season. But, Coach, keep them coming on the left side of that column.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me, Dan.
Welcome back into our GFTV studios. It is Flash Talk brought to you by Brian Heing and colleague Dan Griffin, hitting links with Headman's golf coach Jon Mills, and coming off a pretty successful Robert Kepler Invitational down in Columbus. And, well, you guys are battling a tough field and some pretty tough elements as well.
Yeah, it was a tough week. The golf course had gotten a lot of rain prior to the event, and the rough was thick, and then the wind started to blow, and then the green started to get firm. So it was a challenge. It was, once you're out there in those conditions, it's just about kind of surviving. And our guys hung in there all week, and we, again, going to the back 9, we had a chance to win, and that's what you want. Obviously, we didn't pull it out, but it's definitely some positives to take from that, and kind of some positives going into the MAC championship.
Well, yeah, and we'll talk about that there in a second. But I mean, some solid performances across the board. I mean, Chris is Chris. He is one of the best golfers in the nation for a reason, and was right up there atop the leaderboard as well. But I mean, like you said, you're battling elements, and the one thing you don't want when the rough is thick is a fast green that won't hold anything because it's going to come in hot. And I mean, just hearing from the Ohio State guys, they're going, man, it's windy, it is cold, it is not easy to get warmed up and into a rhythm. And to your guys' credit, you hung right in there.
Yeah, it was. And again, I told the guys I hope they take the positives out of that, because after a round like that, you can kind of be disappointed that you didn't win and you weren't in there on the last hole. But it's so many good things, and we haven't been in that position in a while, so it's good stuff.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the MAC championship, and a place where you guys have had a lot of success in years past. What's kind of the mentality as you zero in on the biggest tournament of the season?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing for our guys, prepare like you do any other event, and then literally put the blinders on and just play golf and not be thinking or seeing what the other guys are doing. You just play your own game, and then you do that. Hopefully, at the end, where we come out on top.
So obviously, you're tailoring your coaching to each golfer's kind of personality and everything like that. At this point in the year, are you cutting it up with them and trying to keep it loose, maybe crack a few jokes, or what? Does it really depend on the situation? Kind of what's kind of your go-to to keep things, for lack of a better word, light and loose out there?
Yeah, exactly what you said. Keep my goal with every kid I walk with, every player, it's keeping them loose, and in between shots, you don't always have to be thinking about golf.
Sure.
And it's a good time to kind of think about something else and talk about something else and just kind of relax a little, and because there's enough pressure on the shots and the playing the golf course that you need to have that kind of time away from it and step away.
Well, you guys get a wonderful opportunity here this week to take home another Mid-American Conference championship. Is there any difference in the training here this week, other than obviously you're going to get maybe leave a day or so earlier, or is it just business as usual?
Yeah, it's basically doing the same stuff. We know how the course is going to play. We've every team played it in the fall, so we kind of know what it looks like. We know the yardages, so it's just literally preparing all that, knowing what to hit off tees and just preparing this week, and then leave Wednesday and practice round Thursday. So it'll happen pretty quick.
There we go. It is 3 rounds for all the glory here this weekend. Coach, best of luck. Let's bring home some more hardware.
Thank you.
Well, let's take a look at what's going on in a busy week here at Kent State. As always, our promos are brought to you by KSUTix.com. It gets started on our midweek night against Clarion as our baseball team will be back home at Schoonover Stadium. 6 p.m. first pitch for Beach Night and wasting away again in Schooneritaville. It is Jimmy Buffett themed. Our weekend gets started with our baseball team hosting the league-leading Bowling Green Falcons at 6 p.m. on Friday night. It'll be a student tailgate starting at 4:30, so get here early. On Saturday, our women's lacrosse team is hosting Central Michigan in the regular season finale. It's a 1 p.m. first draw on Alumni Day at Dick Stadium. Our baseball team is back in action. Middle game against Bowling Green with a 3 p.m. first pitch. It is Military Appreciation Day. We wrap up our Saturday night with Flash Bowl 2, the annual spring football game. It'll be Starkey versus Sendy as our guest coaches, plus the first 500 fans get a Kent Grit cooler. So get there at Dick Stadium early for our 6 p.m. start. On Sunday, our baseball team wraps the season series with BG. It's a 1 p.m. first pitch on Superhero Day. And we also want to wish our softball team the best of luck as they head to Oxford to take on Miami. And our men's golf team takes aim at another Mid-American Conference title this weekend in the MAC Championships out in the Hoosier State. For updates and recaps about all things Kent State, visit us at kentstatesports.com and your favorite social media platform. Back with more Flash Talk right after this. Welcome back inside our GFTV studios, Dan Griffin. Talk a little softball with head softball coach Jess O'Donnell. We're brought to you, of course, by Brian Hing & Cooling. And, Coach, congratulations, a 4-1 week. You guys get the tough road split up at Buffalo, and then how about that big-time sweep over the BG Falcons?
Yeah, we desperately needed that to stay alive in the MAC standings, and really proud of the way our team fought with just guts and determination. So great weekend. You
guys take advantage of the friendly confines of the Divine Diamond and really controlled the series, for lack of a better word, against BG. I think you trailed for all but one inning, and Emily Lippy, I don't know if that ball's landed yet, but she made sure that lead was there to stay on Sunday.
Absolutely. I knew it was coming. You just get a feeling, I think, as a coach and as a player that you're due, and she came up in a crucial situation and kept us alive. So really just loved her fight there and determination.
But let's talk a little bit about the past week. You guys get you grind out a couple of games against Buffalo, and that's always a tough place to play. That's the elements there kind of flip a coin as to per inning on what you're going to expect there, and then to come home and you need 3 and you get 3. Mm-hmm. And just talk a little bit about what that mentality was like and what the message was and what was a busy week.
Yeah, so we came home from Buffalo and just we met a few times just as a team and kind of said, okay, let's address where we are right now and where we need to go in order to stay alive. We knew and just keep our vision and goals in mind. And so we know where we want to get to. We got to get in that tournament and just kind of saying, hey, here's what we need to do. Here's where we are right now. Here's what behaviors we need to change. Here's how we need to get focused and locked in. And we got to take care of business this weekend. And it was just a really good team conversation where there was a ton of participation from everybody, which showed a lot of life and that we still have that passion to fight, because at any moment there they could have said, no, we're good, like this is the end of the season. But I think we put stuff on the board. Hey, we have at this point 12 games left and 6 practices. What are we going to do with those opportunities? And I was very pleased the way we stepped up and played.
That comes from that desire, that focus, that, all right, I need to grip the bat a little bit tighter and dial in a little bit more. Every at-bat is important, but we all know some of those are a little bit more clutch, a little bit higher leverage, and, man, when you guys needed big hits, you got them. Yeah,
really, really impressed with just our team performance this weekend. And I think, too, we were lacking just confidence. We were pressing so hard over the last couple weeks of this, I have to do this. I have to do this. My team needs me to do this. Instead of saying, hey, we get this opportunity to do this. Let's change our mindset to more of a grateful opportunity that we get to go out there and perform. Just really impressed with that shift of a mindset and just building that confidence up. And I think that was really a key for this weekend. And I know you're probably going to talk about Megan Nectarline. We have got to talk about Megan Nectarline. Without her, this weekend did not exist. I mean, she practically pitched 3 full games for us. And just, I remember, we gave her an inning rest. I said, you got any more in the tank? She's like, oh, yeah. And I'm just seeing that in her eyes and that determination. I mean, that was just such a veteran move for her. And she was not a freshman this weekend. And I was just so impressed with her tenacity and desire to help our team.
Well, and when she's going out there and giving you that effort, obviously that kind of boils over into the offense and go, hey, if she's going to go out there and pitch fast, loose, and free, not only let's do it for us, but let's do it for her. She's giving us everything that she's got in that circle. We owe it to her and everybody else to do the same when we're in the box.
Absolutely. And I think you might have noticed on day one, it was almost like when we would score, then they would score that next inning. And we were kind of going back and forth. And I think our offense kind of realized we need to put up some more runs and help Megan here. I mean, she's doing everything she can and she's given us everything she's got. We need to back it up and protect her on our end. So I was really impressed. And then she also recognized that enough to say, I'm not letting this happen again. And so just really impressed with her desire to help us win a game here.
Well, you guys get the task of heading out to Miami, who is having a phenomenal season. But what a great opportunity for you guys to showcase yourselves against one of the MAC's elite.
Absolutely. And, they just lost their first game in MAC yesterday to Central Michigan. So we can beat anybody. I think that's the moral of the story is we can do this, but we got to show up as a full team, offense, defense, pitching. We got to bring it all together and have that just the fight. I mean, here's the thing. I think they're the ones with the backs in their corners of, hey, we want this. We know we're good. We're the underdogs here, and I love being an underdog, and we can do this.
Well, you guys get a great opportunity out in Oxford, and let's keep that momentum rolling.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's going to do it for this edition of Flash Talk, brought to you by Brian Heating and Cooling. Join us once again next week for another wonderful deep dive into the world of Kent State athletics. For all of us here inside the GFTV studios, this is Dan Griffin saying goodnight and go Flashes.